Did it work? Okay, hold on. The thing, I might have to refresh this. It's not working. It's not working. It's not working. It's not working. My chat's not working. Let's retry this. Okay, that's better. I tried hopping on like a couple minutes ago, and the chat box didn't work, so let's change this to live chat, not all chat. I think I want to experiment today. Dashboard, manage. Don't have access to that feature. I want to see, how do you do screen share? Let's see, add stream marker, regular share. Don't have access to this feature. Manage. How's it going, Trista? I'm experimenting. I'm trying to see, like if I wanted to do a screen share for something, how do I do that? Let me make sure my screen is shareable. It could have sensitive information. Oh. Hey, Millie. I'm just using the built-in YouTube. So I'm just using, if you go to YouTube and you have a channel and you just put, what's the thing I hit? Create, and then go live. I'm just in that right now. And I'm curious if there's a way I could screen share. Wait, there it says share screen. Okay, hold on. Let me try something. Yeah, it might work. Let me try that. Allow to see your screen. Screen 2, I guess. Cool. Can you see, does it say LM on it? Oh, wait, no, hold on. Oh, there we go. Now it does, right? Now you see this? You see the cursor as well? Awesome. I'm getting technologic. It's a little slow, maybe? No, maybe not. Cool, now we can like look at stuff if I had to. That's kind of fun. Now see, I have 2 screens right now on the PC. So I have like a screen I see, and then I can swing my mouse over here and see what you see. It kind of makes me wish I had, oh, grab me a snack too, please. It could just be something pre-made like a granola bar or anything like that. Okay. Cool, now if I wanted to share like photos, I could. Although a lot of my photos are on the laptop, I will say. Cool, okay. Videos, I could share videos too. sometimes I go several hours extended just by eating cereal. Okay. If we're going to start talking about food a bunch again, I'm going to get borderline upset because I'll have to go find something to eat again. I might do like a bowl of popcorn or something. Okay, so this is what you can see. Cool. I'm going to move. Not that these are private, but I'm just going to move those to clear the slate. This is fun for some reason. But when I share screen, I might have another question. I want to know if you hear sound on my screen. So here's my 80 subscriber thing. Do you hear, wait, do you hear what I'm saying on that? Or is this silent? Wait, there might be a tiny thing here. Did it power up? All right. Where am I? Okay, so no on the sound. Okay. Okay, we got some more. Hello, Laura. Hello, Amaya. Am I saying it right? I don't remember. I think I titled this that there's no topic, so expect some dead zone. If somebody wants to fire up a topic that I know something about or have input on, I'm willing to entertain that as well. Okay, cool. Thank you. I love art, by the way. It's so important. It's like more important now than ever. And I think more and more people, I think there's going to be a resurgence of physical art, like oil painting and all types of stuff like that. Because I think there's going to be a void where people are kind of craving the handmade. People always like handmade stuff, but I think there's going to be a surge in the next 5 years. So hopefully that'll help you out if you sell stuff. What is the thumbnail, Trista? Is it the one that says I'm in the mood for milk and it has a little cartoon cow? Live music. I used to underappreciate live music, I think. I always liked it, but part of it is like you get older and you don't want to stand, like I want to sit when I listen to music. But live music has helped me understand that music is kind of an organism and not just a like stapled down thing that I kind of thought it was as a kid. I used to always just like the album versions of music. I used to shy away from the lives. But now there's sometimes music that I hear live, like the live recorded version, that is just so much more, I don't know, it's so much more alive. Awesome. As far as drawing cartoon characters, actually, you know what? Let me share something really quick. So I was working on making a zine, and here's like some faces of this character, Anorak. I was trying to draw him in different poses and stuff and different expressions. And it's for a zine I call Earth. But it also has a bunch of other words. So it's called Earth. I was there, I was shy, and I left before the ocean met the sky. So it's basically an alien dude I don't want to give too much of it away because it kind of takes some of the sacredness out of the project. But basically, it's about an alien on Earth with a job that he's really lazy about and kind of just sticks around because he likes cats. And here's his TV. And here is his one of his living room, possibly. I wanted to make a bunch of different scenes, and I didn't know I was going to make a zine out of it, but then I got tempted and ambitious, and I was going to try to make a cartoon out of it, which it would probably be a simplified, like just couple frames and like, and probably do the voice acting and stuff. But that's the plan. That's one of my many plans. Let me get the chat back up. All right, where am I at? Yeah, Trista, like sometimes I'm in a mood where I want to be surrounded by a bunch of people and I can handle it and I'm doing great. And other times I'm like, why would I want to subject myself to that? So it depends. I used to feel like my energy would dissolve in a crowd and I didn't feel unique enough. I know it sounds stupid, but then sometimes I can flip the script where when I'm out in public, I feel more unique because nobody else is me, if that makes any sense. Laura just saw her longtime friend's band last night. Yeah. Small venue. There's a venue in Ann Arbor, Michigan in the US that is called the Arc. And it's so small that anybody who plays there is like every seat in the house is good. So I went there 2 or 3 times. You drawing the Little Mermaid characters, all of them under the sea. Make it a cartoon? You think I should? I think I might. The way I usually approach projects is welcome, by the way. I usually blow it out of proportion, like, oh, I'm going to do a full length. It's going to be like with everything I build or create, I always like have to refine it down to reality. So it starts really big and grand. And I'm like, because I always see potential first. And then I have to like refine it like 6 times until it becomes reality. But usually it's always worth it. Wow, we got a lot of things happening. Let me catch up. I'm going to keep yawning. It doesn't mean I'm going to bed yet. Yeah, I really do like small venues. Like, I think it's a thing. I think when I was a kid, like younger, because you see it on TV, the huge arenas. It's like, that's not what I want. I want to be as close to the stage as I can, and not because I paid $1,000 for a ticket. Like I would rather go to a show in somebody's living room. I think that'd be cooler. If that makes sense. So yeah, so if energy vampires are in large crowds, is that just like a couple people who really suck the energy? Or are you saying it's just like because it's a large crowd, it's going to suck your energy? I also get drained from being around too many humans. I don't think it's always been that way, but sometimes I can get energy from it because I'm the type of person, I like focused energy. Like I would sit down one-on-one with anybody if we want to talk about something interesting. But if I'm with like 3 people, even just 3 people going out, not including me, so 4 people, whatever, it's hard to like get that. Something gets divided about it. But I think it might go back to when I was in grade school and like I had to learn differently. Like I remember we had to learn how to tie our shoe, and they had that wooden shoe with the laces. And I remember like getting kicked out of I couldn't understand what they meant by the bunny ears. And I got basically kicked out. It's like 2nd grade or whatever it is, into the hallway with a chair and the shoe and myself. And if I remember it correctly, with that like undivided attention and like nobody surrounding me, I was able to figure it out and then come back in. And I remember thinking years down the road, like looking back, like, oh, is that just the way I learn? Like I can teach myself things. If you guys try to teach me something, you're probably going to get frustrated because I'm like, I'll stop and ask a really specific question that doesn't seem relevant, but it helps me organize it as it goes into my head, if that makes sense. So now I'm like going back to the chat. Hold on, let me catch up. Learning how to shield your energy and call your energy back. That's what you said, Millie, right? And I believe you. And I will listen. But like I said, you might find it frustrating. You might find me frustrating a little bit because I'm like, I think I'm hard to teach. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm hard to teach. That's all I'm saying. Playing pool and listening. That's funny. I picture my voice like resonating quite boringly in like somebody's basement. And like as the balls get racked up and I'm just here talking like an idiot, which is fitting. Thanks for subscribing, Amaya. You might find a mixed bag here. I'm more reserved with what I post now. When I first started the Milk for a Snack channel, I was just going to pour my heart out. And it would kind of be like you're sitting next to me and hanging out. And then nothing happened per se, but I just like the closer, what am I trying to say? I have probably 50 videos that I made unlisted. Got to shield up, yeah. I keep saying this thing in my poetry about laying down my sword and shield though, because I also like approach everything like a battle when sometimes it's not. So I'm like, what if I just let? But I can't now. The older I get and the more in tune I get with energies, it's like I do have to mind that. I do have to be more careful. Maybe so. My brain probably runs hot half the time because it's dense. I think I see what you're saying. Like, so the vampires are in large crowds, but they're harder to pick out which ones they are. You just get drained. You might not be able to point at which one it is necessarily, but you just feel drained. But I've been having, again, I'm going to give it the flip side. The flip side is, did you ever just feel love for people in a public place? Probably not Walmart. You probably have to go somewhere a little more filtered. But sometimes I would just sit there and just minding my own damn business in a public place, like more like a park, right? And people are walking by, and I just felt almost like, obviously not in a romantic sense, but just like, I love all you guys, It's I call it allegory of a crowded elevator. I'm going to focus on that. Let me catch up the chat. I'm going to talk about the elevator really quick. Yeah, I used to ask too much from my teachers. There was a teacher I had, algebra teacher. No. Physics teacher. I failed physics. And all he would do is put the formula up on the board. It's like, memorize this. I'm like, no, I need to make it personal. I need to know what these variables really represent. I need to absorb it. And it didn't work. I used to feel kind of irked because my sister loved this man. And a lot of people did because he's really funny and really entertaining. And I always kind of held a grudge because I'm like, why do people, I failed his class and it's physics. It's stuff I used to love. And I ended up sitting down and eating with him at a Big Boy. And we talked a little bit about that. I said I needed more attention. And he was the father of a friend. And I had closure because I got to talk to this high school teacher of mine and kind of said what I did. And he really liked what I was doing at the time with my other channel and just using my mind to build things and stuff. And it was kind of a cool little situation. Hey, Angela7. I still call you Angela7 because that one time that I reverse engineered your underscores and figured out how many underscores there were. I hope there's nobody I missed a wave to. But 70 to 72 degree pyramid. I don't know anything about that specifically, but I know I made a star the other day for a mailbox and I had to divide it by 5. So it was like 72, 72. I think it was 72 times 5, if that works out to 360. And then I found out what I call the minor and the major diameters. So how big like the crotch is, so to speak, in the thickness of the points. And I cut it out of a solid block of oak. And I used it because I made this really cool looking mailbox, but my neighbor hated it or didn't like it, so I didn't get to put it up. Laura, what was amplified? That's true. They're not always vampires. Sometimes it's just you. I think I could see that. I'll have to check out what a reflector even is. I'll talk a lot about energies here. And like I tell people, I just feel new to them. I have another channel called The Thinkerer where I used to build stuff. And that's all I really knew. I feel like even 10 years ago, I just thought the world was very physical and that there wasn't much behind the scenes. And if I'm being honest, it was really comforting. But I had to change. There's things that shifted me up and shook up the framework of it. Millie, I think you're right. That's how I felt for years. I was like, he's an awesome entertainer and he had like catchphrases, but I didn't see him much as a teacher, which is okay. But that was the role he was in. And yeah, I agree with that. I've transmuted energy before and it made me feel like I was an alchemist. And I think I still can, not every time. And I have a couple loads, if that makes sense, that I'm working on. So I'm like one thing at a time, kind of. Wall Martians. Yeah, that's a good name for them. Wall Martians. It makes it seem like a whole nother territory. Yeah, and sometimes I have love for miserable people too. But lately, I swear, it seems like when I go out in public, I'm almost pointing at them in my head. I'm like, you're not happy. You're not happy. And I know I used to define happy wrongly. I used to think happiness was kind of fairy tale where it's like, you're good, you're out of the woods, and now you're sailing for the rest of your life. That's happily ever after, almost like in storybooks. But like, I realize now happiness is a blend of acceptance and situation and even history, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like I feel like I'm making crap up now, but art conspiracy event at the Texas Longhorn Ballroom years ago, and it was packed. I immediately started crying from everyone's energy focused on me. Oh, so you were in the event as well? I think I get in modes. I get in modes where I think I could be behind a podium and whatever. I just have to believe whether it's um, true or what do you call it, delusion. I have to believe that the people want to hear what I'm talking about. Then it's pretty much gravy. I think I could do a public speaking if I feel like the crowd was even half in my favor. But if I feel like I'm against everything, if I get that feeling that everything's against me, I will have a harder time flowing, of course. Good night, Laura, and thank you. Music is energy. It's like, it's very, I used to think that I keep using these terms. I used to. But I used to think music, it's another thing I felt like was simpler than it really is, if that makes sense. I have a voice, or a pleasant voice, speaking or singing. Because right now I'm still keeping it kind of low, so it gets kind of gritty, like. But thank you for that either way. The pool balls couldn't be heard. So you had the music that loud? There's a 144-foot pyramid still standing in Russia, made out of plastic. Plastic? Those scientists had funds to use a plastic pyramid. They didn't 3D print it, did they? Yeah, that's the scary thing. My imagination is overweight at times, and like I think that sometimes I actually cower a little bit from my potential, um, because sometimes you are given, you're kind of shown it, like, hey man, you could do all this, and you're like, ah, it's not just a thing people say, because it used to always just seem like a line people would hand you that you can do anything you put your mind to. Well, the people who don't believe that is because they didn't actually put their mind to it. And it sounds corny. It's one of those things that everybody says, but it might be true. Oh, wow. I got to go up again to the chat. Wow. How quick are you guys going? Okay, here I am. I'm at Laura's. We're all alchemists. Yeah, maybe we are. And if somebody would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have been like, girl, you tripping. But maybe we all are. Millie says, sometimes you'll get a glimpse of what skill you have, and then you'll work towards developing. Yeah, you're telling me, Millie, with poetry and writing and story, what do you call that? Short story writing, like not just poetry, but writing stories. I used to think, I talked to a writer at a art show a couple months back and kind of asked her this, and I got kind of teary-eyed because I said, hey, is it normal to get a glimpse of what it makes you feel like at the end, even though you never wrote it? So like you'll start weeping and you'll be like, this is really powerful, but then you didn't put any work in yet. I'm really good at getting what I want the reader to receive emotionally. I'm good at getting that before I even put the pen to the paper. And sometimes that's fun because you get that glimpse and it gives you that spark. And other times it's like, it's not conducive to doing the work because it makes you feel like you got the reward without doing the work. And I'm trying to fight against that. Okay, here I am. Happiness is equanimity. Equanimous. Yeah, happiness is a word that used to make me cringe just a little bit because I was not defining it accurately, if that makes any sense. The geometric ratios Galad used align with so many ancient structures worldwide. The pattern recognition across cultures is undeniable. Has anyone tracked the water purification data long term? That's the piece I find most compelling from a hidden science perspective. Your mind is a powerful thing. You're able to do limitless things, only limited. I did speak on that too. Both speaking and singing, it's hard to leave. Oh, thank you. Where did I go? I should do the pop-out chat so it's big. And then I could circle things. Both speaking and singing, it's hard to leave. Oh, I was there. You have a nice voice for speaking. You don't have a face for radio, at least. I think that's a compliment. Thank you. I don't have a face for radio. That's a compliment. Thank you. I see how I have to dissect things. I'm like, I think that's a nice thing. Pyramids effective with one material. Copper. Oh yeah, copper. Imagine making a copper pyramid of any size. Plastic pyramids would have been way easier for the ETs to build. I think anything was easy for the ETs to build. I think the variable of material was probably of negligible importance at the time. The Washington Monument would work if it was built from one material. So you're saying, is there a resonance or something about being a monolithic slab of one type of material, even if it's not crystal? Plastic and fiberglass. I like Chatty Chattersons. I think if there was 20 people, I would have to slow down a little bit and be like, okay, I'm just full screening it for now. But making 6 feel like it's 10 is kind of fun. If something seems important to somebody, just rewrite it, I guess. But I don't think I missed much yet. And also, I think you're Chatty Mick Chattersons, you know? Single material is the key because the geometry does the work, not the substance itself. Okay. Not plastic. Creating is emotional. If you aren't feeling emotions, you're not creating. We are creators, life spark. Maybe so. And maybe so. And when you're a creator, it's like some of you probably know when you're like an artist of any kind, you'll be feeling like trash for a week straight. And then you'll be like, you put something out creative and expressive, and you're like, oh, I feel a little lighter. And you'll be like, I just wasn't creating. And that's sometimes why you feel down, is because you're not being creative enough, I think. Hmm. It's worth a try building those pyramids, isn't it? It's worth a try. How's it going to hurt? Maybe it was built for an opposite function. Now we're getting into the conspiracy bag. I'm not against conspiracy theories. I'm just not big on them, meaning I don't have a bunch of them in the tuck where I can pull them out. My biggest conspiracy theory is maybe toothpaste is too abrasive on purpose. Millie majored in English literature and communications. You could talk writing all day. I could probably talk writing all day, but just more from a newbie, more from a personal perspective. Um, there's things I want to write that are kind of savage. Like I would almost need a pen name for them. And I do journal, but not every day, not diligently. And I love writing poetry, as most of you guys already know. And I really want to write books. I want to write some fiction, but I have like 5 ideas that I realized they're all partially about me. And I felt embarrassed because I'm like, I didn't think I was writing about myself because these were different characters and different types of things. And I realized I'm like, this reminds me of that. This reminds me of that. And I got a little bit self-conscious because I don't want to just write about me. Sometimes I write from other people's perspectives. And I call that head hopping because I have to make up all my own terminology because I'm a goofball. Oh, we got some confirmation on the toothpaste thing. Where am I? Yeah, you're McChattersons. You're from Ireland or someplace. You're Chatty McChattersons. I always I always like to joke about that. I always like to make like I can't think of a good example, but I always like to say something makes something. It's kind of redundant. How do I say it? Is it Caris? I remember seeing your name on the channel, but I don't know how to. I'm just going to call you K for right now, and then we can amend it. Thank you for that. Um, We're getting scientific again. Obelisks are antenna, not amplifiers. They draw energy up and out. Pyramids concentrate and radiate it down and around. It kind of makes sense from the geometric perspective, right? I go cooling my brain again. Creating lifts us up. Yeah, I know. And I think it's like, what is it? The society, like, so I'm in the USA and a lot of places are similar. I had a friend who said, I was talking to her through email, and she said, and it was the first time I heard it this bluntly. She's like, I think our jobs are meant to um, distract us from ourselves. And I'm like, oh, in many ways, that's true. In many ways, that's true. But yeah, creating does, I feel that divine spark. I feel sometimes like I'm tapping in. So this is the analogy I gave before, and I'll give it again. Because I was thinking about how I was writing once, and I don't feel fully like a vessel. A lot of stuff is coming from me and almost from the flesh itself. But like, it's like an underground vat of juice, and you punch your little tap in there, and you can fill your cup with the juice. And you're not stealing the juice because the juice is made from the collective, like everybody out here walking around on the earth and living their life. They're contributing to the juice whether they tap it or not. So I felt like a collective oil field underground of creative energy. The toothpaste is good. Yeah, where was that toothpaste comment about glycerin? Oh, there it is. Glycerin strips enamel off teeth, and it's in nearly every toothpaste, even the natural ones. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Sometimes I don't do this religiously, but sometimes I would just use water and brush my teeth, and it would still get the texture to feel right. Because the main reason I brush my teeth is like because you get that, like, you know, just the texture's off. It's not smooth enough. We're counting. I like this. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh, wow. I really missed a bunch. I'm sorry, folks. Worth it. The pyramids are still standing in Russia. And they, wait, where am I? Okay, I'm back. Yes, the pen name is good. Right. Sometimes I want people to know it's me. And sometimes I'm like, I just want to write. I heard somebody say that the biggest thing, it was one of those big sci-fi writers, and he said the biggest thing when you sit down at the typewriter is to be honest. I'm like, okay. Anyway, the pyramids are still standing in Russia. They've been busy recharging dead batteries, purifying granite, sharpening razor blades just by sitting near them. Fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, it is said. And the wildest one, if you're high, standing next to a pyramid will sober you up, whether you want to or not. Ooh, I wonder if that's true. I know this is going to be, well, I'll get to this here in a second. Millie's not great at journaling because it feels too structured. Wait. Oh, okay, because you're doing it in a structured way, right? Because sometimes you could just wiggle the pen. Like, to me, journaling could even be drawing. Journaling could even be just writing the same word over and over. To me, journaling is like, you don't have to talk about your day, right? I'm sure you already know that, but like, I think you can pull the structure right out of journaling if you wish. And I would still consider it journaling personally. Laura says, I love the conversation, but I really am going to bed. Alex, you will learn I say goodbye a few times. Yeah. Around here, we call that the Midwest exit. So when you're with people in person, they'll be like, well, I ought to go. And then like an hour later, like, I really should go. I had a friend who was really good at that, or really bad at that, whatever way you want to think of it. Lily's like, I'm just going to stop saying bye. 13 minutes, because we're counting now since Laura's first announcement that she's going to sleep. I used to get that fear of missing out. Like if I was her right now and I was headed to bed, I'd be like, what else happened? What else happened? I'm getting better at that. Sleep under an imaginary pyramid and wake up recharged. Is that a pyramid or is that a paper football in red? I can also call you Jackie. I'll do that. It's Greek. You can't even pronounce it right. Isn't that weird too? What do you guys think? Because like for me, especially if you're an American and you're trying to learn a different language, you feel like everybody's going to make fun of you. But I don't know about you guys, but when I hear a foreigner mess up a word, I would never think to make fun of them for it. I just listen harder and think, what are they trying to say? So I wonder if you're in a different country talking, if you should just drop all that, like, am I saying it right? Am I saying it right? Because they probably don't care if they're decent. I don't know. I'd like to think that works both ways. Yeah, I'm at a point where I almost don't want to buy oil anymore. Except for the creative stuff I mentioned earlier. I'll still pump some of that, right? Like I had a point. I was at a point for 2 or 3 years ago where I had 10 cars. And I was like, I don't want 10 cars anymore. I want 2 cars. I don't know. Currently, I have to have a pickup truck to move things currently. I want my short school bus. I want to convert that into an RV. And I want one like good daily driver. But for at one point in time, I thought 4 cars could be my minimum. Truck to move things, camper, a good AC go out of town car, and a beater. But I wish I had 1 car. I kind of wish I had 0 cars. That was kind of a tangent. Newborns placed near pyramids recovered faster. So you're big on pyramids. Do you have like a pyramid necklace? Or do you have a 3D pyramid, printed pyramid on your bedside or anything? Or do you have like one of those like stone ones? No, it's not just the shape, is it? Is there something built into it or is it just the shape? Okay, where am I at? I could believe that too. Cats reducing violence in prisons. What? As long as the paper football is 70 to 72 degrees, it should work. Oh, hell. I do have a bit of the charisma at times. Sometimes I can feel it glowing. And sometimes I'm a little bit repressed. I'm like, I'm not trying to stir anything up right now. When I go out. The whole scoop. I don't think I've ever been to a proper party in my life. And I'll tell you what, when you abstain that much from that, you kind of feel like you missed out. Now, I always wanted my energy focused, so I don't think I would actually like a party. But part of me just thinks that I did miss out on something. I wish I had a young and crazy time so I could like learn from it or something or feel more well-rounded as a person. If I lived in a place where I could get away with just a bike, I want to try that for like a year or two. I really, really do. Like not like New York City or something, but like just something. I romanticize that concept of just having a bike. Not probably for the rest of my life, and I don't regret having cars. And where I live, you almost have to have a car, but I kind of wish I had a bike, and that's it. I'm kind of going into my minimalist phase lately, where I had all the stuff, and now I want less and less stuff. Ooh, is it copper? Is it solid copper? Trista, you've never owned a car? That's amazing. But you probably live in a town somewhat large, right? I live out in the cornfields. Like I'm a creature from the Black Swamp. So like you have to drive like I drive 10 miles for groceries. Well, there's groceries closer. But for main stuff, I drive 10, 15 miles away. Also, no hate on e-bikes. I think if I had one, I would love it. But around here, people on e-bikes are dangerous because it brings people onto the streets that don't really, they're not used to being on two wheels. And now they have two wheels and a motor. So around here, I'm kind of like scoffing. I'm like, these e-bikers. But if I had one, I think I would adore it. A 4-foot base copper pyramid made in India. Oh, wow. Sit underneath it and meditate. So it was a hollow one. Did it have a bottom on it? Yeah, yeah. So it was sheet metal, right? Trista lived in cities with decent bus systems. I also I also kind of romanticize public transportation because you got to understand, I didn't even ride the school bus to school. I always had my bicycle, walked, or got a ride from my folks. So on field trips, when I got to ride in the big bus, I was like grinning. I was like, this is fun. I remember how long it is. So like the scenery would fly by the windshield laterally. I remember thinking this is so cool. And I remember being next to a friend who's like, you're an idiot, because it was just mundane to them. But to me, it was a treat. I would go in there high and come out sober. I didn't know about the Russian research then. I just thought it was broken. Turns out the pyramid was doing exactly what the science said. Yeah. So see, I want to talk, Jackie, I want to mention marijuana and my lack of it, and drinking and my lack of it. And I'm not bragging, not exactly. I'm sharing a weird perspective. When I grew up, I my parents were always drinking and smoking and doing all this. I remember just thinking these grown-ups look stupid when they're doing that. So I kind of rebelled, and I never drank until last year. It's a longer story than this, but let me just make it brief for now. I hated alcohol. I thought it was stupid. In high school, nobody pushed me to drink it. And I started feeling outcast because I didn't do these things. Nobody really made fun of me straight to my face, but you feel this non-inclusion. Fast forward to last year, 2024, and I realized, Alex, you are now, well, drinking kind of took out my mom too. So then I wasn't drinking for like honor of mom. And then fast forward to last year, I actually realized there's a complex here. I am scared of alcohol. So I shit you not. I texted like 4 friends and I'm like, hey, I'm going to drink. And they're like, I don't advise you do it alone. I'm like, it's a mom thing. And they're like, okay. And my one friend said, you're not going to like beer first drink. They're like, get something fruity. So I went down and got some Mike's black cherry lemonade and drank a couple of those. It wasn't amazing. I basically just paid money to get dizzy, but I didn't get drunk. I think I might want to get drunk one time in my life still. But it proved something to me. It was a net positive. I was like, okay. Because I was so afraid of addiction growing up, and I still kind of am so afraid of addiction that I would swerve away from all this stuff before it even got in. And I think there's a lot of addiction in my family. So I was scared that any little thing I was going to do was going to make me hooked. And after trying drinking, it was a positive where I'm like, okay, you're not hooked. I drank the rest of that 6-pack the next day. And I was like so scientific about it though. The first time I did it, I had too much food in my stomach and I over padded myself. And I also tried THC gummies last year. I like those a lot more than drinking. And I'd probably buy more of those. But I never smoked weed before in my life. And it used to be like if I was around people, I didn't know what it smelled like till I was like 26. And it used to be, I'm getting better now, but it used to be that if like they had it, it would like scare me as if it was like a hard drug or something. So I'm very much like a lightweight with that, but there's a pretty deep psychological attachment to it, if that makes sense. And I remember the smell of beer makes me feel comforted, almost like you're home. Like beer breath used to comfort me, I guess, because of what I was around growing up. All right, where am I at? Exactly. They were hollow pyramids, and it's open. Oh, okay. So they weren't even like they didn't have the sheet metal. They were just the frame, is what you're saying? Yeah, completely open. You can literally walk right into it and sit inside, no walls. Okay. I should make one out of wood someday then. Millie's seen those at pictures from conventions. I can't break down alcohol. Asian flush. What does that mean? Do you mean like your body can't? Oh, is that what you mean? Yeah, I never been drunk either. I guess I was buzzing a bit, but it was even hard to tell that I was buzzing because I didn't have a lot of stimulation. I was trying to watch a movie. I was just in my short school bus and I spent the night in there and I was drinking this alone. And I remember when I got up and walked, that was when I felt a little bit dizzy. But I remember thinking, shoot, I just paid money to get dizzy. I could have put my forehead on a bat and spun around to get the same result. I was kind of like, that's how I was feeling at the time. Ate the fruit out of it. I didn't realize until it was too late. I think I used to try to sip the beers that people would leave as a kid. I think my sister did too. But sometimes they would put their damn cigarette ash into it like an ashtray. And the first time you got the ash in you were done. You were just like, I'm not gonna risk this ever again. Oh, that's what you mean by the Asian wash or flush? Our livers are missing the enzymes that break down aceto acetaldehyde. I probably said that wrong. So alcohol literally becomes toxic to us, like even more toxic than usual. Yeah. Red face, heart racing, instant sick. So I never been drunk a day in my life. Wow. So that's why weed was there for you, like more prominently, right? I feel like weed is healthier, right? Like those THC gummies that I used, um, I felt like nutritionally, like I'm just taking this little gummy. It's not a bunch of sugars and a bunch of all this other crap. So if I'm ever going to do that, I'd probably look into more gummies. And I can say that without shame. You guys got to realize 3, 4 years ago, I would have been like, who are you? And who are you? Like, I would have been almost scared of THC gummies. But now I trust like my level headedness and like I trust myself with that type of stuff after dabbling in it enough just to get enough to calm my psyche, if that makes sense. Make sure I have live or all chat on. Okay. Um, because we have some new faces, or maybe nobody's seen this yet. I want to share my journal box again. Not my journals, but the box. It's a wooden box. This was a twig that fell in the yard that I milled. These were the bottom plate of a piano. Hold on. These are parts of a leaf segment from an extendable table. This is store-bought oak. This is the live edge from one of those twigs that fell in the yard with little brass screws. Just some bulky hinges. This clipboard comes out, and you can put a smartphone. Now, I'm a flip phone. I'm a flip phone user through and through, but I have a smartphone that I call my poetry phone. And I have the little record on the back that you pop open. And you can put that in here. And then I used to hang this on the steering wheel of my Buick. Oh, yeah, thank you. Hold on. Okay, we're back. I should have did that about 30 minutes ago. Let me start fresh. Box. These oak sides are oak that I pulled out of a scrapper at a factory I was working at, a hopper, and milled them thinner. These are bits from a table I used to hide under as a kid, the leaf segment you take out. And these smell good when you cut them, like cinnamon almost sometimes. Scratch and sniff. Actually, that almost worked. That ejects from there. And like I was trying to show, I would hang this on the steering wheel of my Buick. I had a Bluetooth keyboard. And then you can put that in there, and I had a screen, and I would type and I would write. And I'm still going to do this, but I have to make these hooks bigger to actually fit on my Ford Flex now. That's my writing retreat in a box. So let's get back on about the marijuana. Wait, I'll make it cozy again. Jackie says, I was a heavy cannabis user for 25 years, like an ounce a week heavy. So the pyramid sobering me up was no small feat, right? Like it had a workload to do. 6 days sober, and that's what's wild about looking back on those pyramid meditation sessions. Yeah. I had a hard time with alcohol till I discovered that stuff. I would get nauseated almost immediately. I'm not Asian though. Well, not in this lifetime. Millie smoked a ton too, but for the same amount of time. But no idea if it was an ounce because there was always an endless supply. Damn. Yeah, I heard it took me a long time to understand how popular weed, any kind of cannabis product was, because it was so far from my life that I didn't realize how popular it was, that I asked one of my friends what percentage of people use it, but his percentage I think was high. I forget what he said though, but it was like really high. I'm like, that high? I don't know if it's that high, is it? That particular drink has an enzyme that helps with that liver thing you're talking about. Mix it with water and before bed, no more hangovers. There's free advice. Should I post that? Should I make, what do they call that? Pin that one? We only have 3 people in here right now. I don't think I have to pin it. Everybody heard it. July 21. I had it again here. And they're like months in between 2 drags, and I'm high for the whole day. See, that's good, isn't it? Like, why are people proud of a tolerance? It's like, don't you want to be it's like being fuel efficient. I hate it when people would brag about their like how much they could drink or something. It's like, don't you want to get drunk off one drink? You're saving money, bro. But since we're on the topic, I had some leftover indica oil from Alaska and made brownies. Gave some to a coworker, and he split them with his girlfriend. She called him 4 hours later saying, I'm so tired of being stoned. That was my going away present to Alaska. Alaska sounds pretty. Even the word. I feel like most humans get this calling to Alaska at some point in their life. I got mine 2 years ago and I ignored it. And I wonder if it's going to come back sometime. Yeah, I think I would drink now. If I'm surrounded by the right people, I would entertain drinking again. And I'm not scared of it. Before I was like scared of it. I thought it was going to kill me or something. I don't know. That's what happens, I guess, when it takes your mom out and you don't drink. I've been finding lately that anything you abstain from with no exception whatsoever, it builds up an unknowing about it. It builds up almost a curiosity where you're like, well, what am I missing? So it's kind of, that's my story. My brain associates Alaska with Israel Kayes. Sorry, Alaska. Alaska to me is like Nebraska. I guess anything with an ASCA. It makes me think of really crisp, like trees and air, I guess, for some reason. It's like you go ask for a cum pie. That sounds very like suggestive. It's like, yeah, did you guys have cum pies? Disappeared. Yeah. Just get mopped up with the bucket at the end of the day. Just mop me up. Take me to the janitor's closet. It's over. I don't know who that is, but I always wanted to do that Alaska cruise thing. I don't know what cruise thing it is. You guys got to understand, I've been so walled in. Like, I took a trip to, um, what's it called? In the US, that region, New England. And it was amazing. I want to get into it yet right now. Maybe more individually, I would like to talk about it. It was amazing. I basically was able to prove to myself you deserve to travel and you're allowed to, and you can pull it off. So that was really amazing. So now I'm a little bit open to that travel thing. I even walked into an agency in the mall just to like talk to them and say, so you just book places to in different countries and whatnot? And they said, yeah. It's like, cool. I've been very in my head tunnel vision most of my life, if that's understandable. Curcumin. Yep. Y'all got a cure for coming in here? Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Trista, because you're into that stuff, right? Trista, do you remember when I was on your live and I was asking you random questions like, do you like X-Files? Do you like Rocky Horror Picture Show? And did you like listen to Hole? Do you remember when I was asking that stuff? Skip the local brownies. See, I might, but now it's like take a brownie to the hotel. I think I would take a brownie to the hotel. So yeah, Trista, when I was asking that stuff, it's because I was getting vibes You remind me of either my sister or somebody that my sister would have been friends with. So I was like, I was almost sensing like almost like an archetype, or like, I wonder if these variables fit her, because I'm like, So that's why I was asking that stuff. But yeah, but my sister used to be big into serial killers, just fascinated with the psychology around it, I guess. And to me, I'm still too a little too sensitive to like look to like still too a little too sensitive to like look to like I'm not a true crime guy, because like I already feel like all the crime in fiction is true, because they're like symbols of things that really happened. Like, I don't care if the names are changed or everything happened to the one character. It's still like symbolically true. So even when I watch like just it's hard for me to watch like certain things lately, because I'm just like, oh, it's just like a lot to take on. But I still respect. I have respect for people who are interested in that, if that makes sense. So I'm not like judging almost ever. I'm rarely ever judging, truly. Y'all got cum pies here? Oh yeah. Yeah, I have a couple friends. I have another friend who enjoys true crime stuff, and then I have another friend who really likes Mr. B. Allen stuff. And it's like I almost can't like catch too much ear of it, because it'll get in my head a little bit. But I don't mind if you talk about it here, or whatever you would like to do. I'm working on going bald, evidently. Look, I'm working on it. I threw Walter White in my uh, a rap I made. I think on the 4th of. It was just a goofy like rap I made where I said something about cooking now, Walter White. So I guess you're on time, Grasshopper. It's just a big forehead. I don't think I actually look like him. See, does that prove it? Does that prove it? Yep, I don't have the. I got the big eyes, the non-squint. Mm. Am I saying it right? Is it Israel Kayaz, or is it Israel Keys, or is it neither? Okay, the beard and the glasses combo. I could see that. I'll take it as a compliment. But Grasshopper, say hello before saying. I see that all the time. People hopping on chats and saying who looks like who. I'm like, why don't you just say what's up first? But yeah, Alaska, it is beautiful. Oh, like people think about that. I'm just gonna take that out of when I think about Alaska. I'm just gonna take it out of there. Oh, now we're getting deep. If I'm interpreting this correctly, if I'm interpreting this correctly, you saying that you know people like that in real life, that's spooky. I think that's what gets in my head, where I'm like, who's a serial killer? And it's like, you know what? The odds are they aren't. So I'm gonna go with that. Keys. Hello, grasshopper. Hello, young grasshopper. It wasn't super rude. I'm just I made rounds on chats. I've seen some things. I want to keep mine nice and open and inviting. I'm a sensitive person, but you're probably not going to hurt me like that. So I like to call things out, and I appreciate the pardon, your pardon. I appreciate you. The missing person rate in Alaska, as it really gets me. Now, if you go by percentage, that's just because the population is low, right? Or I guess percentage would stay the same. I think I said that backwards. The cold doesn't. That sounds like something that is trying to like. The cold isn't what keeps people away. It's the disappearances. People vanish up there at a rate that doesn't make sense. Yeah, maybe so. I feel like, So, what's the difference then? Okay, we got a pyramid expert, right? So, Jackie, what's the difference between a square-based pyramid and a triangle-based pyramid? Is a triangle-based pyramid not even a pyramid? Do they have to be a square and then 4 triangles meeting to a point? Or can it be that, like, how does it even work? Isn't there like a triangle-based pyramid? Let me think geometrically. Yeah, there could be, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Like 4 triangles. Wait, yeah, 3 triangles on top and 1 on the bottom. Okay, we got information pending. 7 men to every woman in some parts of Alaska. The cold I could handle. That ratio is a whole nother kind of survival situation. But for real, it's not always funny being a woman up there. Oh, really? The Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, did an episode of that Alaska Triangle. I went to a cryptozoology museum before. Tetrahedron. Okay. So we don't even have to call it a pyramid. That works for me. That works for me. I like how I got all the mystics in the chat. So like it could just as easily, if I hop on a chat, it could just as easily be just music people, or like that. Like last time I hopped on, I mentioned playing guitar, so I got a bunch of musicians in there. I'm like, well, that was kind of cool, I guess. Pyramid or square base, yeah. 4 triangular sides meeting on one point. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. It's a tetrahedron, if I'm saying that, including the base. Exactly. Okay. The only thing I slept through was study hall. Oh, you know what? I think I have something for you guys. Maybe. Let me check. No, maybe I don't. I had a grade card where there was a bunch of Fs on it from like 3rd grade. But I think it's on another computer or something. Yeah, I think it's somewhere else. I do have this. All right, where am I at? I I was not interested in most of what school had to offer when they were offering it. My narrative used to be I was a straight C student who scraped by. And then after I graduated, I started collecting interest in all these things that they were that I could have excelled at better if the timing was a little bit different. What do you guys think about this? This is simple, but I kept it because I really felt it. In your 30s, there'll be a day when you feel the surge of this isn't working for me anymore. It's very important to let it launch your next era. I appreciate that. There's only one area code, 907. When something goes missing in that much wilderness, it's not supernatural. It's just Alaska. I like that. Yeah, they should divide it up a little bit for sake of searching. Supernatural. Yeah, it's a generic. Some people feel this way when they're 65. Some people feel this way when they're 21. Um, I think it comes, if you believe in divine timing, it just comes when it comes. But I think I've talked to some people where 38 is kind of a magic number. And for me, I think that was similar. Um, that could even be a season, Alex. Yeah. Grasshopper relates to that, and they're not even close to 30. And you don't even have to answer, but I wonder if you mean you're way older or way younger. It's just an earth age. Millie must admit that with so much wilderness, taking out the trash could be potentially dangerous. Does that mean like bears and stuff? This is so good. I felt that surge at 48, and it completely launched everything I'm doing now. Don't ignore that feeling and know something you don't yet. I might get emotional at that. Nope, I'm not ignoring the feelings anymore. um, I think it's just a hypothesis, but I think I've been ignoring feelings for a long while. And the way I like to put it is if you ignore the universe's whispers or you're not sensitive enough to hear the whispers, you get a calling. If you ignore the calling, you're just like I'm just going to ignore my calling. It's whatever. I'm going to do the same thing I'm doing. You get screamed at. And if you just simply endure the screams, you then get shoved. Now, mind you, it's a love shove, but you still get shoved. It's a push. You'll get boom, by the universe or whatever you want to, God or your higher self or whatever it is. It'll just shove you. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just get shoved. Not even close to 30. Can't even see it in the rear view mirror. Yeah, I bet you can. Anchorage is really the only safe city. Everywhere else, you're genuinely sharing space with wildlife that can end you. Yeah, I know, right? So I think I'm just gonna like keep Alaska in my mind, like some people keep Georgia. Just keep Alaska on the mind. I'm terrible with wildlife. I'm terrible. If you got claws and teeth, I'm scared of you. Period. Nature doesn't care. Maybe it doesn't, and that sounds scary when you put it that way. We get bears here too, but not often enough, and coyotes. Yeah, I think I have coyotes around here. Any other cool hats? Oh, cool. You're here in the music stream. That's cool. That was a lot of fun for me because it was kind of unexpected. All I have is the one. I'll put it on for you. But I probably do have a couple cool hats, but not in this room. Okay, here's something good. Oh gosh. Thanks, Trista. Here's something good. I think younger people are feeling that much earlier and more easily. The energy has shifted, and I think we go through things sooner and faster these days. This means a lot to me. I'm going to pin that message, if that's okay. I know, I was thinking about you too with the claws and teeth. But I'm vegetarian mostly. She's a man eater. Yeah, I like this hat. I lived in Soldotna. I don't know how to say it. I'm going to act like I know. I lived in Soldotna, and I was walking to work 1 block away from my house and turned around to find a bear behind me. Springtime, just woke up from hibernation and hungry. Oh my word. Thank goodness, because redirecting and shifting seems easier without kids. What's the thank goodness part? But yeah. I know somebody who is up there. I know somebody who I met on a trip who did everything late. And she had her twin boys when she was 49. And she's also going through something of like an identity crisis. And I'm like, it can happen at any time. And she feels like this would be easier if I didn't have these twin boys who are now like 19. Was it 19? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. So like I count my blessings with that. I'm like, at least I'm going through some stuff, but like I don't have a lot of things depending on me. So like I think that's gonna help me out. Luckily he was going for the dumpster, not me. Yeah. The dumpster had the goods. A bear gun. Yeah, and there's a bear horn that a friend had when they went to Michigan camping trip that is crazy loud. Like it's like an air horn basically, but it's a little bit higher pitch, I think, or something. The earlier shift. Yeah. So are you saying thank goodness for I'm still a little slow on the take up, but yeah, like thankful that you have a child-free person who's going through a shift early has less to concern themselves with, where they can focus more on themselves, I think is what you're saying. But some people are doing this, feeling the shift so much younger. And like I said, I almost get jealous. I'm like, oh man, but I think it is partially a collective thing. And also I think that it's partially everybody's different. And I've always been different and late with things. So I'm still afraid of dogs to a degree. Yeah, I'm kind of weird about dogs. I could hear those bells when they popped up. You're staying with your aunt and uncle, and one morning there was a bear eating from the garbage can, and it was normal for them. Yeah, younger than 30. I say that's a good thing, Grasshopper. I like that I called you young Grasshopper then because it was like a Karate Kid reference. Mm. But yeah. Pizzly Bear. Oh yeah, people. That reminds me of like dog breeds, like you got the Labradoodle and now you got the Pizzly Bear. Yeah, Pizzly Pizzly Bear sounds like something that you don't have to worry about, but all of a sudden you actually do. That is a good thing, Grasshopper. Um, I have a lot of deep rooted. I have a lot of where was I? I think I call it the tunnel. I've had a lot of where was I the last 10, 20 years? Where was I? But really I think of it as an extended childhood. It's like it's not that it was bliss, pure bliss, but I feel like I grew up a lot later than most people. Um, whether I was ignoring something or just naturally or fortunate or what have you, but it makes things tougher. But I think there's a reason for that. And partially I've been shown and partially I'm yet to find out. Okay. So I'm going to bring up a quick new topic. I call it allegory of a broken elevator. And I got a lot of burps. I had a video about this, but I think I changed it from public to unlisted just for my own reasons. It's not that personal, but to me, the allegory of the broken elevator is like picture you are going through your daily life, tunnel vision, you work, you go home, work, you go home, whatever. You enter an elevator. Let's say there's 12 people, including you. And you look around, you're like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to get out the elevator. But instead, the elevator starts going, ka-choo, ka-choo, ka-choo. Maybe even the lights flicker for a little bit of theatrics. And so now you're stuck with these strangers in an elevator, and you don't know if there's enough oxygen. You don't know if you're going to plummet. There's just a lot of unknowns. But you look around now to these people who were strangers and you had no interest in talking to. And you're like, you know what? We don't know if we're going to make it out of this alive or not. Why don't we sit down and chat? Why don't we sit down and chat? And you learn about a little bit about their struggles, a little bit about their life, a little about their worries, a little bit about their comforts, their habits. And you start to care about these people. To me, this is symbolic of just the earth, right? Like we don't know exactly why we're here. We don't know if anybody's going to make it out alive. Why don't we sit down and chat? And I feel like that's kind of why I like a quick way to put why I appreciate talking to people more than I ever did before. Because I'm like, wait a second. There's this level of desperation you get being human where you're just like, but you're surrounded by people. So why don't we talk about some of this crap? And that's partially why I'm here. Pizzly sounds like a whole lot of I don't want to meet you. Polar bears are savage and grizzly, not much friendlier. At least grizzlies' appetites include berries. Yeah, but when you have a set of berries to be eaten, that's very scary. I'm a Libra. I'm a social butterfly. See, I don't know. I, you know how you can be both? Like you can be an introvert and extrovert at the same time. You don't really have to choose. I can be a social butterfly, but I can also be very much like, I don't want to talk right now, which I think is normal. But I think 5 years ago, I was like, you had to choose a side, man. You got to be one or the other. But I can be a social butterfly. If I think the energy is even partial match, I can open right up, ready to rock. But if it's like, I'm getting better at discerning, like, okay, sometimes I'll meet somebody and be like, I have nothing to talk about with them. That's when it's a real mismatch, like not even like this, right? work mode. I have one mode. And it's me mode. That's why I don't know if I could be a professional musician. If I don't feel like singing, I probably just won't, you know? Grasshopper says, I've started to watch more YouTube streams, and I like watching these streams because it feels like what the internet is supposed to be. Same here. I could talk for an hour and a half about the internet and how I kind of avoided it some of my life. But then I was using it for like small groups like these, like small groups. And but I'm kind of on the end of the spectrum where I'm like, I don't want 20,000, even 20,000 followers, unless maybe like on my music channel or on the Thinker, I wouldn't mind maybe, but I never asked for a like or a subscribe. I just, if somebody wants to come in and do that, they do it. And I've met people from Africa and Canada and Australia and New Zealand and US, of course. And I'm from the US, in the US. And it's like, yeah, wait, there's some beauty to behold here. Like it's still risky. There's still who knows what, but it's like sometimes it's worth the risk. And I hopped on a bunch of chats and kind of right now I'm only have a couple of them I'm kind of on, but it kind of I feel like I'm finally using the internet for good. Not that I used it for evil, but I just felt like I would throw it out with the bathwater. I'd be like, there's too much bullshit on there. Let's not ever use it. And now I'm like finding ways to use it that I'm like, okay, this is a net positive for me. Yeah. I love solitude now. It's not that I think I used to choose solitude naturally. Now I schedule it. So it used to be like I just naturally like I like being able to shut the door of my room. Growing up as a kid, I would shut the door of my room. And I lost that for a couple years and then I gained it back where like I need to be in a room and shut the door and just be me. And now I do that kind of as a recharge. But yeah, I felt a void of like, actually, I like talking to people now. I actually like hearing stories. I even talked to my dad once and I said, Dad, I just want to hear stories. I'm like, they don't have to be good. They can be bad. They can be whatever. I want to hear stories. And I got a couple out of him. I need to get a couple more out of him. He lives in North Carolina. He's about, would that be 6 or 8 hours away? Yeah. And Millie, I have close friends who do that. And I didn't used to get it. I used to be like, what do you mean social battery? What do you mean drained? And then I think that's partially why I've been shown some of this. It's like to understand it more. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. So now I have a much bigger allowance when somebody's like, it doesn't happen a lot for me, but if somebody's they just want some space, it's like, yeah, you get your space. We're all humans. We all need some space here and there. What? Who are we recording, Jackie? Are we recording me? Um. Oh, okay. Do you mean record my father telling stories? Grasshopper recommends Tom Grossi because he recently did a stream to raise $1 million for charity. There you go. Um, I caught some flack once. because I was on a small chat and I was just kind of praising its smallness. Now I know we want to grow to a certain extent, but like it was just from one person. It wasn't from the whole chat. But I remember feeling really affected by it because they were basically like accusing me of, I don't know, I think they thought that I didn't want the creator to grow at all or something. I was just saying that I like it small. Like, I think I mentioned this on a different one, but I don't want my stream to be so big that the chats go like this. Have you ever been to like a big chat and like there's so many that it's like, let's say there's 250 currently chatting or watching. Not everybody watching chats. But when it goes up that quick, I'm just like, guys, it reminds me of what we were talking about earlier with being in a huge crowd. It's like, maybe I don't want to be surrounded by people right now. So like, I think sometimes I come off a little bit too punk rock, but like, it's not that I want no followers. I always just like, and there's some people who are really big who still they stayed true to their vision. Joel Haver comes to mind. Somebody I used to watch called Sylvanas comes to mind. You can have over 1.5 million subscribers and still do your original mission. But it just gets so big that I just feel kind of diluted and it makes me want to find smaller crowds again. But yeah, record your dad. I had him type some out. And now here's the question. Do I tell him I'm recording or do I just keep it in my pocket for when he passes and I get to listen to it? Because I did that with my uncle and I have a couple clips of my mom. And I didn't know they were going to pass. I just recorded them because I wanted a keepsake. I don't want to record people without their permission, but I think it would skew what they say, if that makes sense. Jackie says, I insulted the size. Yeah. In the chat I was on, it was small. It's never over 20 people. So it was already small. Maybe I just need to keep my mouth shut when I'm about my small community stuff, but I don't know, it's important to me. Yeah, it gets too busy to enjoy. But I guess if that's the creator's true vision, then I guess I'll support it. But there's a lot of people, there's almost a culture built into a lot of YouTube that is basically like growth at all costs. And to me, that's just swelling. It's not growth, it's swelling. And I've seen channels kind of blow up and people always wish that upon them as if it's a blessing. Like, I hope your channel blows up. It's like, well, you know what happens when it blows up? Have you seen some of the junk that gets through the gate when people get really popular? Sometimes it's a little bit alarming. Yeah. Like Death Punk Rock or Ramones. Okay, I will have to look it up, Grasshopper. The candidness might make the recording better. I know, right? But how do I get over like the little bit of guilt? I think like if he says something incriminating, I'm not gonna like send it across the wire. I think I'll do that though. I think I'll just record it because I used to always keep a recorder in my pocket. My flip phone can record too. I actually have a button that'll shortcut it now, but I used to always keep a note to self in my pocket and I would record music ideas, grocery lists, concepts, jokes, skit ideas, all types of crap. And now I have like an archive. But I would say he doesn't clam up, but I think he has to have a few drinks into him to unleash. I will say that. So and next time I visit him, I basically plan on saying, Dad, why don't you have a few drinks and sit on the porch? Because we had a pretty good talk once and I want to do it again. We're not close. We're by no means estranged, but we never were close growing up. And now I want to hear some of the stuff. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to record him. It feels deceptive, but if it's for my own use, it doesn't feel that weird. if I plan on using it. But I don't plan on using it. Yeah, when you get really big, and I know you can get thicker skin and blah, 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 but I don't want my skin to be so thick that I can't feel anymore. Yeah, I like slow, steady growth. Exactly. You attract your tribe more. I can agree with that. I don't know about the band Death. Should I? I know the Killers from the 2000s. Yeah. Yeah, it's only weird if I plan on using it, like, and there's not that much with me and my father, it's a pretty simple relationship. There's not a lot of It was a little bit more complicated for my sisters, but for me, it's very simple. Slower growth is better because it's those networking subs. Yeah, yeah, like you guys, it feels closer because I always call you guys semi-digitals. If I don't know you in real life, you're a semi-digital friend, meaning you're a real person on the other end of the wire, but then I'm just on the other end of the wire because there's actually fully digital people now, which is kind of scary, but like, which I've talked to some as well, just to kind of see. Then there's fully flesh. So when I say what's up semi-digitals, it just means you're like kind of like a friend, but you're on the other end of the wire. There's a wall there still. I love the Killers too. They have an album called Sam's Town. It's not the album that Somebody Told Me was on or Mr. Brightside, but they had When You Were Young. And the whole album just plays well when you listen to it cover to cover. And it has kind of an intro and an extra song that's similar. And it's just, I really like that album. Good night, Grasshopper, or thanks for stopping in. Um, this is the old tube. I have a thing called putting the U back in the tube that I was trying to kind of push a year ago. But thanks for stopping in, Grasshopper. Stop back if you like. They influenced the Ramones and all punk. Okay, Death did. Ooh, Michigan. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Should I write that down, Jackie? Should I write down Death? I might just remember that one. Yeah, Trista definitely has friends online who I'm closer to than people I know in real life. Trista, I might ask you about that, um, probably through a different correspondence. It's not that private. It's just where people set those boundaries and what people expect from people online. I'm curious about. Dun, 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 dun. Jackie said "Sweet Dreams." Now I'm thinking of the Eurythmics. And the album cover has a pyramid. Of course it does. Of course it does. I don't think you would listen to it if it didn't. You'd be like, "What is this?" Um, I'm just thinking about music, but I'm glad you guys are making this great again. I'm glad I stopped on. I did it again with no warning. I'm just like, I just want to hop on live again and see what's up, see if anybody stops in. I'm still going to probably be here for at least another 15, 20. I don't know. But it made it really nice. And I have struggled with how much, because I don't want to replace real life friends with online friends. I always want to supplement. I'm very mindful. And lately, I'm more online than I am before, but I'm doing it with connections. I'm not just like simply like, I never got on TikTok. I'm not a TikToker. There's certain things that I know are screwing with my attention span and my work ethic. And, but with this, it feels more, I feel more charged than I do drained when I leave. So I'm like, okay, that's a good sign, I think. Cleaning up and getting ready for bed. Yeah. I think I'll probably go to bed around 2. Hopefully get off of here a little bit before that. Right. So you guys are all like, I got on TikTok to monitor the kids, but now I've run out of storage on my cell phone. Does it take up storage to use it? There's some stuff I almost hate about TikTok. And there's some stuff I kind of get. Like when Vines first came out, or not when they first came out, I'm late to every trend. But when Vines came out, I never clicked on them because it just looked like clickbait. It'd be like a Vine compilation. I'm like, what the hell is a Vine? But then when I started watching them, I was actually like, oh, this is fun because they only have 7 seconds to get the setup, the punchline, and everything. So there's an artistry from that restriction. But then I got to the point where I'm like, nah, dude, this is just like, I want my attention span to be so long that I can read a book, watch a movie, just sit in silence, you know? And I'm still decent at that, but I've recognized that I'm more online now than ever. So I'm like watching it. I have a couple terabytes in my laptop and a terabyte in my PC. And what added it up for me is taking footage on GoPro in 4K. It fills it up pretty quick, where a terabyte isn't what it used to be. It does add up. What is a Vine? Vine used to be a website or an app that you could post content, but only up to 7 seconds, or maybe it had to be fully 7 seconds. So you had 7 seconds to make comedy or info or whatever it was. So everybody would have to be very succinct and almost surgical with like how they do things. And people would make compilations of them. Usually I would watch funny ones. So it would be like 15, 20 minutes straight of 7-second segments. And they were really, really funny and actually warmed me up. So it's not without merit, but I remember feeling like that was back when it felt pure. Now it feels like they're trying to just keep me sludgy in the brain. I never was on Vine when it was actually out, but I watched a lot of YouTube compilations of Vines is how I would do it. TikTok definitely, yeah, it makes me feel icky. Keep that. If TikTok doesn't make sense and it feels icky, let's just stay off of it. Like Millie said, you might want to dabble to know what it's about. You might want to put a rope around your waist and dive into the well. Other than that, we're going to stay clear out here. We're good over here. I didn't like my GoPro because it runs really hot because of how dense and small it is. And the battery life was really rough. Other than that, it took good video, nice and portable, and the stabilization was the best. It never looked like this. It was always smooth as heck. But other than that, I think the what do they call it? Some 360 thing might be better. Yeah, short attention span. I'm so old I was on Friendster. What was Friendster? Is that something I wish I had? I was late. I never used AOL and AIM chat rooms. It would all seem like taboo. I was late to get on MySpace. I was a little bit late to get on Facebook, and now I don't use Facebook anymore, and I don't miss it. I don't miss it. I'm on Instagram, but I'm taking a 3-month break. I'm on YouTube, obviously, the most. And I thought there's one other thing. I kind of tried to do Substack with poetry, but then I kind of gave it up for a second. It didn't latch on right. But Friendster sounds... I kind of wish Omegle was still a thing. I wouldn't mind randomly video chatting with people at this, now that I'm confident enough to, like, interested enough to do that. I'm picturing it on your head while you do mom things, Millie. Yeah. I'm going to live stream the laundry folding tonight. It was actually a talent to do something that short. Yeah, I agree. Like, you had to be clever because you only had 7 seconds. It was actually kind of cool, because I always say that art breathes best when it's strangled, meaning like my Song a Day project. I only had 1 day, sometimes a couple hours, because I put it off to do the whole song and get it done. So it's kind of neat to do that in a way. It's almost like the confinement is actually freeing, because now you don't have to worry about every possibility. You just got to get it out. Oh, okay. Friendster was before MySpace. And you were on it, though? You were actually on it? I'm a little older, but I wasn't into all that stuff. Yeah. I kind of miss those waves. Trista remembers Friendster. Wasn't on there, though. Remembers Stumble Upon. That was super fun until it got too big. Yeah, everything gets shitified. It's so hard for people not to just keep the ads out of their face and like everything. Friendster, MySpace, and Facebook was a succession. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. Rarely on Instagram. There's a couple moments I actually liked it, because it did a better job at showing you what you wanted to see. But now there's like a lot of fake accounts, and like I'm just about gonna... There's a couple people I was corresponding with on there, so I kept it, and now I'm coming back on April 1st to see if I still want to keep it. I kind of envision getting off of all social media. It'd be a hit in the heart right now to get off of YouTube, so I'm sticking with that for a while longer, of course. Yeah, I like Substack, and I like Discord because there's not a bunch of ads and stuff and a bunch of things that I don't want to watch. There's no incentive to really scroll. I think that's kind of amazing. Stumble Upon. I don't know if I ever heard of that until now, but it seemed vaguely familiar. Friendster. See, when social media was newer, it was more magic. It's like before it got completely, like, before they're trying to make it addictive and trying to like pump in a bunch of ads, it was kind of cool. Like what we're doing now is kind of cool. I don't see any ads. I hope you guys don't either. I want to do more in real life as well. But for right now, I'm hanging out with you guys. And I have been kind of making friends lately. It turns out it's not that hard for me to at least be accepted into a group to a degree. So here's some info. Stumble Upon was a site that you would find websites for you. Oh, based on what you set your interest to. But when it grew, it ended up being too many big sites instead of... Yeah, they keep smothering the little guy. I like YouTube the best, and Discord and Rumble is okay too. I like X as well, but I could scroll if I don't control myself. Yeah. I never got on the Twitter properly, although I had some tweets. You guys gotta believe I had tweets. I had jokes, I had poems, I had observations, and I pulled them off of Facebook and put them in a folder, and now I'm like, I don't feel like showing off that much anymore. Just on the back of my memory. Okay, you do remember that now. Millie pays for premium, so I don't ever see the ads. I use Linux on a PC, and I have ad blocker. Now they're trying to sneak their way in again. I used to feel like, don't I owe it to somebody to watch ads? Now I'm like, I don't want to watch your ads. So right now I have an ad-free experience, except sometimes it sneaks up and I get the stupid base 44 while I'm like, don't. But the price is worth it. But that's sad too, because I feel like, am I losing both ways? I either pay the money or watch the ads. But yeah, normally if you got the money, I'd rather pay the money than see the ads. And I even like advertising to some degree. Like I like when people would get clever and come up with cool ways to put things and funny ways to put things, and you actually remember their thing. And I like jingles. Like there's part of me that likes the advertising industry, but lately it's kaput sometimes. I would like premium to be able to keep a video going while doing something else. Yeah, right? Like, so, okay. So I showed you that little phone, wherever it is, that smartphone I have. I do Wi-Fi that sometimes walking around and try to play stuff, and it pisses me off how many ads pop up in the middle of it. I'm like, no, 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 no. So sometimes I will, oh, here it is. I will screen record sometimes. There's a particular person's work that's really important to me that I'm literally recording all of it, screenshotting, and saving it to files so I can eventually put it on a device and play it without interruption. You had a Twitter profile from the first launch. Got locked out of it after your devices was hacked from my identity theft of 2024. See that? That could have been devastating for me if I put a bunch of work on there and didn't back it up. And then like it just pissed me off. Someone was talking about Linux last week. It's probably just me, Millie. I'm not techie enough. I can be if I invest the time to learn, but too many things going on. Okay. I will say something about Linux really quick then. I should. Because it's not, I look techie, I seem techie. I'm not truly. I did build my PC after I'm more techie than average because I did some programming on the Commodore 64, and that's what got me into computing. And now I built this mother brain. This thing. I did build that. And Linux is easier to use now than ever. I use Linux Mint Cinnamon, it's called. And you can do everything graphically. You don't have to use the command, the terminal. So, and it's all stuff that basically people made because they wanted to make it. There's not a lot of, it's not like Windows where there's there's not a lot of spying or ads or even viruses. So it's kind of cool. Which you used Linux like 27 to 28 years ago. Well, while she had a friend who used it and was there to help. Yeah. Did you like it from what you remember? What did Jackie say to many times? Oh, many times trying to restore the X. Yeah. I can't even call it X. I still call it Twitter. It just seems goofy to me. Nice. Millie had a Commodore when they first came out. Yeah, I think they released them in 82 and they called it the bread bin because it was just like, it's basically a thick keyboard for anybody who doesn't know. And I used to have a couple videos about it, I think. And they're actually really, really cute. Like they boot up in like 4 seconds and they help. It's like you're a co-pilot. You're actually learning with it instead of just being sold stuff from it. Tried to give me a $3,000 refund, but I didn't try to divert the funds. Closed out my checking account. Oh, wow, that sucks. That's so inconvenient. It makes me upset. I made my name repeat on the screen on my VIC-20 when I was a kid. That might have been the height of my techiness. Yeah. you would be like, print, Witchy Trista. Step 10, print Witchy Trista. Step 20, go to step 10. And then you run the program and it'd be like, grrr. But you can also set it in to only do it 10 times or 20 times, or to change the color or everything else. Who is Lucky Stone? I was one of Lucky Stone's friends. That sounds interesting. What does that mean? Oh, wait, is that somebody who passed? Oh, wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm lost. I think I made assumptions. Trista says, I don't think I liked Linux, mostly because I didn't understand it. That's fair, especially that long ago. Yes, I was in like 4th grade when they came out, maybe 5th. 10 print or 10? What's your question? I remember talking to the computer like that. Yeah. It's using basic language. I just call it basic. It's really kind of cool. I started from a LinkedIn job when I applied. The employer had their website mirrored in their emails. Someone created a fake profile through their LinkedIn business profile and posted the fake job. I'm so tired of fake stuff online that it gets unhealthy sometimes. I'd rather just show up now and talk to somebody, because I'm just like, and I was never that type of person who cared. Like, if I got a real person, I could use the little prompt thing that's good enough, and then blah blah blah. But now it's a little bit different. It's like, please, I need to talk to somebody. Who is Lucky Stones? What am I missing here? The question was a shortened way you'd say print. Yeah. Yeah, the question mark was shorthand for the print command on Commodore as well. So let me go. Yep. And there's a lot of shortcuts that you actually end up really liking. At first, it just seems like, why is there 2 different ways to do the same thing? I need to go back to work. Everyone tells me to apply through LinkedIn now. You've convinced me that no. I don't like LinkedIn either, and I heard it's even shittier now than ever. Yeah. LinkedIn, I think I literally I deleted my LinkedIn profile like 3 days ago. Not kidding. Yeah, I think Commodore did make the VIC-20. They had Commodore 64. There's a 128. There's a VIC-20. There's like a couple more, I think, too. The only one I ever owned is Commodore 64, and I praise that machine. With it's the only reason I care about computers today. And it taught me just enough about how computers work to see that it's all ones and zeros. It just seems, because it's converted at the other end, we take it for the symbolism that it's representing, if that makes sense. There you go. That's a review in itself. Never got a job from that site, just my identity stolen. That should be on a t-shirt with like a LinkedIn logo. It has you as domestic goddess. I never took it seriously. That sounds like a serious role to me. Oh. Yeah, I think you guys convinced me I did the right thing, that I don't care about LinkedIn anymore. It's not going to help me. I might, when I go to find another job, I might, if I get desperate, I might look into Indeed again. It seems a little bit better. But I'm at a point where I just rather go see the people. I'd rather just walk in and then they can get an energy read and I can get an energy read. I don't get enough through the wire. I don't know what your environment's like. I don't know what type of people you are. And I might never know that. But I can get a little bit of a read if I actually there, and then I can use my flow and my charisma to help get the job instead of just, I don't know. I know sometimes it's necessary, and if I ever want to move, I might have to interview over the wire and stuff. But for now, I just take it as it comes, I think. I should set a time. It's where I'm at. It's 1:11. I'm definitely going to quit before 2. I'm going to try to quit around 1:30, but we'll see if we get into something. Entry legal work. Is that like, yeah, maybe it would. I can't really trust because AI doesn't actually know anything. It's all variable still. It's almost like a plenum. It's almost like putting your info in a blender and then drinking the smoothie. I've seen it do some cool things here and there, but I'm like, I'm hesitant when a business uses AI because it's like, what else are you shortcutting right now? All you East Coasters. Yeah. I'm on Eastern Standard Time. I remember one of my daughter's teachers had looked me up and was cracking up. And then my daughter realized that he had looked at my LinkedIn profile. Yeah. Domestic goddess. It's yeah, see, we're not all East Coasters. We got Central up in the house. C. Did I do that right? Yeah. Because that would be backwards. Okay. There is a band I love called Mountain Man. There's no men in the group, but it's a band I love called Mountain Man. And when you said that, I just thought of that, obviously, because it's direct. I think Judy's on Mountain Time too. I feel like I haven't thought about time zones much until I started talking to people from different ones. Like in Australia, it's so weird. I'll talk to Nathan and it's like summer or something where he's at. I'm like, how does that even work? It's kind of neat. It makes sense. But yeah, I just kind of felt, I think it was a symptom of being self-centered growing up, but I never thought too much about other time zones. I'm just like, it's time is just right now. I have the 24-hour scale on my PC, but I did it to try to get used to it because every time I would still look at the 24-hour scale, I'd get a little like, I'd almost have to like do the math. I'm like, what time is it? And it is March 1st today. I'm going to drop a link because I'm trying to actually promote this music project now. Um, View my channel. Manage my videos. Wait, no. Okay. Let's see if that works. Yay. Okay. So that was, you'll notice I have a lot of like hesitant on promoting anything I do. But I figured what the hell? So that link in the chat is of my music channel. And I want people to, right now it's just a song a day challenge I did this whole month. So every day this month I put out a song. And I kind of want people to go through linearly, but there's no grand, it's not an album, you know. But you might find something you like in there because there's a lot of variety. Like I don't usually stick to one thing, and I want to I just want to pass it around a little bit this year. I did this back in 2014 and it was a lot of fun, and I'm a little bit better now, but I took kind of a hiatus, and for kind of sad reasons and kind of whatever. So I felt the calling. I'm like, dude, you need to put out some music or you're going to go crazy. And it did help. And I want people to check it out. Zulu. Yeah. I should try that. Like, yo, meet me at 3 p.m. Zulu. Be there or be square. Yeah, check it out, Millie, if you'd like. Disclaimer. I don't think there's any music in there that's gonna offend anybody. But like, again, I might make a song that's kind of rocky, and then I might make a song that's kind of softy. Then I might make a song where I think I have one rap in there. It's a freestyle one. It's goofy as hell. And then there's a couple songs that are a little sadder, and there's a couple. So like, don't expect consistency, which I think is fun sometimes. Zulu. Trisha thought more about time zones when I was living in a place that didn't change, but we got American TV stations. So for half the year, everything would shift to an hour difference. Yeah. We had a lot of daylight savings things. I used to drive to this town like an hour away, and it would be like free time. But then on the way back, you'd lose an hour. But that was daylight savings, not time zones. And I always thought daylight savings is outdated now. It's antiquated, it seems. It seems like it's just a farming thing. Consistency is for poop. Yeah, maybe so. I think so. I think I'm just self-conscious about it because I don't know why. I just like people going in knowing that it might switch up instead of hearing one song and being like, that's what I do, I guess. I think that's what it is. I kind of get that now, or at least time is not linear. It's wiggly, and it's wiggly. I just spent so much time, like probably for the first like 26 years of my life, thinking that time was something I can like rely on. And like it was on my side, maybe, I don't know. But consistent pooping or the structure. I don't know about you guys, but I poop in like a pyramid formation. Maybe not. I always thought it was a farming thing around here to get another hour of visible light before tractors had headlights. Oh, okay. I get what Jackie's saying now. Like, exactly. Is because I took it as consistency, not consistency. So we're asking, is it the schedule that's consistent, or is it the material that's consistent? Yeah, so you meant structure, but make a good point. Absolutely. That's a great point. This is really fun. Oh, I want to ask something. I've been thinking of the term beat you to the punch, beat me to the punch 3 different ways. I thought for sure it was just boxing. You beat me to the punch. You punched first. But then later I like, wait, do they mean like beat you to the punch line? Like, oh, you snuck in and said the joke before me. You beat me to the punch. And a third way, which I thought I was reaching, was maybe you beat me to the punch bowl. So you're in line and you got yours first. You beat me to the punch, a fruit punch. And I brought this up. I was at a wedding, which wasn't the funnest thing, but it was a friend and I went. And the best part of it was I was talking to these 2 people out there and I asked the same question. And these 2 different ladies both said, one said she always thought it was a punch bowl. The other one said she thought of it as a joke. I'm like, thanks for saying that because I thought I was just making this crap up. I thought it is boxing. Millie takes it as a second. So the second one was the joke one, right? Awesome. Yeah, like it can sway depending on what you're on, what your circumstances. But Trista said as the punch, this is awesome. Thanks. This is data for me. This is beautiful to me because I remember feeling stupid. I'm like, why do I think it's 3 different things? But then real people are like, no, I thought of it as the other thing. I'm like, oh, cool, because I thought I was making crap up. And maybe I was, but it aligned anyway. The farmers say the cows need to be milked at the same time. Yeah, maybe so. Here we mainly have corn and soybeans. And I always thought it was just so back in the day. I don't know. You have more daylight to see the corn go in the bin. I'm not, I'm surrounded by farmers, but I don't know much about it. The punchline. Yeah, you got to stay consistent. You got to check your consistency. Are you consistent? And when you're consistent, what's the consistency? This is a calm. If I would have picked up my guitar, it would have been fun still. But if I picked up my guitar and said playing guitar, I would have got twice as many viewers. And it still would have been fun. But last time it was a lot of fun. Corn and soybeans are the worst. I feel like you're spitting. I hate corn and soybeans. 92% of soybean, 80%, 88% of corn is GMO. Those are older numbers now, so it's probably more now. Yeah. I never looked into that. Is that such a bad thing? I know sometimes, like, I like genetic modification of bananas because bananas used to be really strange, I guess, but I don't know much past that, and I won't claim to know much past it. I think the corn what we make here is mainly animal feed. Like it's mainly livestock feed from what I gather. Um, but it's kind of nice out here because all the roads are straight and gritty. Not gritty, but grid work. And so when you're motorcycle or car, it's actually therapeutic to drive. It's not like a bustling, like I don't want to drive. It's like, no, you go out to drive to clear your mind. It's therapeutic. And I had friends here from Boston area a year or two ago, and they said that they're like, driving is so serene out here. I'm like, yeah, it is. Oh, it's modified to produce its own pesticide. That does seem kind of strange. Another thing, talking about driving and cows, um, I feel really honored when I'm, like, on my motorbike and I'm riding. When a cow, like, watches me, it makes me feel important. Exactly, driving in Boston's not serene. So when the friends visited me, they're in the back seat, they're in the seats in my Buick, and we're driving, and they're like, "Wow, this is nice." I'm like, "Yeah, we drive here to clear our thoughts." I did visit them too. I visited them one night, and, that was pretty nice too. And, yeah, I don't like the big I like visiting the big, but I can compare the driving. I feel hesitant to talk. Well, it froze so much before that, like, I'm hesitant to, like, invest in speech. I'd rather just chat for the last couple minutes through typing. Okay. If you hear me fine, I'm not getting the messages either, so I'll just keep talking. Yeah, Wilbur might be blind, but it's still a solid animal, solid dude. I hope Zuckerman wasn't a serial killer or something. I don't think I've been there. He was born, but something nice. Just every time I point at, what's that guy's name? A lot of time doing to do that growing up. Marfa. Marfa sounds like a cute name for a cow too. I seen me and a great friend on separate occasions had seen something fall. What was this event 3 months ago? On a northern sky. I'm in Ohio, and we saw something irregular fall. Like, gosh, it was strange. I thought it was like a shooting star, but it more aggregate. It looked more blocky or something. And I heard space junk was falling. I don't know if that's true, but it's kind of cool. I'm just gonna make my whole house a pyramid. Marfa lights. It just sounds cute because to me it sounds like somebody's trying to say Martha. Look, I'm here past my time. I guess I'll stay a couple more minutes since it's not acting up. Who needs a pyramid, me or everybody? When I was building my when I was building my computer, they had a pyramid shaped case, which is really cool, but it was hard to actually get your components to fit in it. You had to take more care. And it was the first computer I've ever built. So I'm like, I'm not going to do anything that crazy. And it was kind of pricey, but it was really cool. Yeah, I agree. Everybody, maybe everybody. Oh, yeah, Marfa, Texas. That sounds really familiar. You guys got to understand, I'll be way behind in any current events or like even not that current events. I'm not very well studied. A lot of it will be new to me. I'd be like, the what? The what? Everybody. It's where they filmed No Country for Old Men. I know what that is. I haven't seen that either. Giant. That makes you think of a Pixie song now, Gigantic. I can't go around having this much fun on live chats because I don't want to like rely on it. Like I don't want to be like, I need to hop on the chat tonight. I need to hop on the chat tonight. But that's just because I won't do it every day. I'd be fine. Oh, Giant the movie? Whoa. So it's an oldie then, right? Cool. I just had like a I don't know, like I just thought of old movies and got a feeling, a good one. And now I just got ringing in my ear too. Yeah, maybe going live to hang out is addictive. And I don't believe in a such thing as a healthy addiction, but I do believe in healthier addictions. And this one isn't that bad. My left primarily. But I've been getting low frequency hummings in this one lately too. And I've been getting that like sometimes anxious feeling that used to be in my center has spread to my upper arms. And I know it's not just a physical thing because if I'm not, I can make it disappear. Like I'll be driving and like, oh, it's gone. Then it'll like sink back in. I'm like, okay. It's a signal. I think it's a signal. It's not like I do need to work out more. I look like I'm in shape. I can't run for squat. I need to, I'm going to start doing like pull-ups and like aerobics because I just like, dude, I'm like sedentary. If I rub my boobs like that live, yeah, Scotty would be all over you. Scotty would be all over you. I was trying to figure out what that guy's angle is. And I'm like, I'm just absorbing right now. There Will Be Blood. I heard of that one too. Is that an older one? See, my movie knowledge is low. My favorite movie is The Truman Show. I also like A Beautiful Mind, Good Will Hunting, What Dreams May Come. Pretty much any serious role with Jim Carrey or Robin Williams, the drama roles were good. I'm big on Ninja Turtles 1. I'm big on Jumanji, the old one. I'm big on Ghostbusters. Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile. All right, where are we at? I only run if I'm being chased. What does that pertain to? Is that a twin flame thing? Scotty does seem like a good guy. He seems simple and horny, but I think there's something about his heart that might be in the right place. Oh, that's from 2007, There Will Be Blood. To me, that's a new movie, right? Are you guys like that? To me, 07 is not that old, but it is kind of now. He really is the best. What Dreams May Come was so heavy. Yeah, you bet. Jim Carrey is a clone now. Wait. So, Jackie, I know that's a conspiracy, right? Which I know is not all truth and not all BS. But I did see his face in a couple thumbnails on the side, and it was not him. But I thought it was just some AI BS. I might have to hit you up on that. It came out in mini books. Oh, that sounds cute. Not a twin flame thing at all. So you only run if you're being chased. Who mentioned running? Who has to run? Was it me? Comedy, sci-fi, and horror. I don't want too much reality in my movies, right? That's what they're for, right? Just look at the latest pick. I know. No, no, no. I know, right? Hold on. Who's Dave? His own family said Dave was not Dave. Oh my God, that's scary. If it gets too scary, I'm gonna cut it because I want to go to bed not scared. But Jim Carrey. Oh, Dave Chappelle. Oh no. Now he could have just changed too, but yeah. Huh. I might actually have to look these up because these are interesting me. Because I saw Jim Carrey's face, I'm like, that's rubber or something. I'm like, that's not Jim. I know Dave's is, but I think it was smoking, right? There is a difference. There is a difference. Yeah. It's creepy. I'm gonna rub my boobs on the line. Well, then there are also the central casting actors in masks, not just clones. That one went above my head. I don't know what the central casting actors are in masks. Clones. Not just clones, like clones. Hey, cool. Hey, cool. Uh, it's unstable. Okay. Okay. So do we buy into the Avril Lavigne one too? Because at first, when I first heard it, I just thought it sounded crazy, but now I'm like wondering why they have to, because they just don't want to kill them off. Is somebody getting, do they get jobs in movies? Huh. I might have to make a note to look up the thing. Okay, that's good to know. And I was never a huge Avril fan, but I always thought it sounded like a really weird, like